The office that forgot me. I started at Kessler & Bright straight out of college. Entry-level analyst, tiny cubicle, but I was determined. I kept my head down, put in extra hours, and within 3 years I was leading small projects. People knew me as reliable, steady, a safe pair of hands. But safe hands don't get noticed. Then Marcus arrived. He was loud, charismatic, and he had a way of making every idea sound like a revelation. At first, I admired him, until I realized he was stealing mine. Every time I sent him a draft to review, he'd tweak a few words, present it to management, and soak up the praise. He turned my research into his sound bites, my reports into his proposals. And I said nothing. After all, team players don't complain. Months passed, and I watched Marcus climb. One day, my director called me in. "We're restructuring," she said. "You'll report to Marcus now." My heart sank. I nodded. I kept working. But Marcus had bigger plans. He started assigning me impossible deadlines. He forgot to invite me to key meetings. He told others I was disorganized, slow. A few months later, I was written up for underperformance. I went home that night numb with anger. That was the night I stopped being invisible. I started saving everything. Emails, chat logs, time-stamped drafts. I set up automated backups so nothing could disappear. I documented every project I truly authored and every presentation Marcus lifted from my work. And then I waited. An opportunity came when Kessler & Bright announced a major client pitch a contract, big enough to double our department's revenue. Marcus was put in charge, of course. He called me into his office. "I need your best on this. We can't afford mistakes." I smiled and said, "Of course." For 6 weeks, I built the entire proposal. Strategy, financials, design. Marcus barely skimmed it before presenting. The clients were impressed, but they wanted follow-ups, technical details Marcus couldn't answer. He told them I'd send a report. I did, but I also CC'd someone else, the VP of Strategy. And in that email, I laid out the entire timeline of development, with attached drafts showing my authorship. I kept the tone professional. For transparency and future planning, here is a record of the work completed. 2 days later, HR called me in, quietly, privately. "We've reviewed your documentation. Thank you for your diligence." They asked if I'd consider stepping into a new role once the pitch closed. I said I'd think about it. The pitch succeeded. The clients signed. And Marcus was called into a meeting he didn't walk back out of with a smile. Word spread fast. Plagiarism, mismanagement, falsified contributions. He was given the chance to resign. He took it. But that wasn't the end for me. Leadership came with its own shadows. In my new role, I started revisiting old systems Marcus had neglected. I found half-finished projects, misallocated budgets, vendor contracts signed without oversight. For weeks, I worked late into the night, quietly rebuilding what he had broken. Every discovery felt like uncovering another layer of rot hidden beneath the paint. The board noticed. "Your attention to detail is exactly what we need," they said. They invited me into meetings I never would have dreamed of attending before. I sat at tables where decisions that shaped entire departments were made, and I listened carefully, taking notes, offering input only when it mattered most. Months later, another opportunity arose. A cross-department initiative requiring someone who could navigate complex histories and personalities. They chose me. And when I walked into that conference room, I saw the faces of those who once overlooked me. Their expressions had changed. Respect, curiosity, even a little awe. Marcus's old allies avoided my gaze. Some of them had covered for him, shared in his shortcuts. Now, they were eager to prove themselves to me. I didn't rub it in. I didn't need to. Because revenge isn't always a single strike. Sometimes it's a slow and steady ascent, fueled by every dismissal, every insult, every lie that once held you down. And sometimes it's looking around a room that once ignored you and realizing they're all listening now. Thanks for listening to this story. If it stayed with you, subscribe. We share haunting, thoughtful stories twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Until next time, stay warm.